Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're taking a look at the AI landscape, specifically some of the hottest models out there like Grok-3, DeepSeek R1, and O3-Mini.
Yeah, there's been a kind of a surge of really powerful models recently, and each one is kind of shaking things up in its own way.
It's almost like an AI showdown, right?
Yeah.
Each model bringing its own strengths and strategies to the table. So let's meet our contenders. First up, we've got Grok-3. This is Elon Musk's XAI's latest creation.
Yeah, this one's been making headlines. It's supposed to be 10 times more powerful than its predecessor Grok-2, which is saying something.
Right, and the real-time integration with X is a total game changer.
Yeah.
Being able to instantly analyze trends and sentiment on social media as they happen.
Imagine the possibilities for businesses, marketers, researchers. I mean, the insights you could gain are pretty incredible.
Definitely, but all this power comes at a price, right?
Yeah, Grok 3 isn't exactly cheap. It's $40 a month for the Premium Plus subscription and 30 for Super Grok.
All right, so maybe not for the casual user. Okay, so next up we've got DeepSeek R1. This one's coming out of a Chinese startup called DeepSeek, and they're taking a totally different approach.
Yeah, this one's open source, so free to use, which is already a huge differentiator.
Right, and they actually trained it on older hardware because of those U.S. export restrictions on AI chips.
It's crazy they managed to achieve comparable performance to models trained on much more expensive hardware. It's like they found a loophole in the system.
That's pretty impressive.
Ah.
So how did they pull it off?
Their secret weapon is something called a mixture of experts architecture. Basically, it allows the model to be super efficient, only using the parts of its massive brain that are relevant to the specific task at hand.
So it's like having a team of specialists ready to tackle any problem.
Exactly. And that efficiency is a big reason why DeepSeek R1 has been crushing it in benchmarks, especially in areas like math and coding.
All right, so we've got the powerhouse, backed by Elon Musk, and the scrappy underdog from China. What about contender number 3?
That would be O3-Mini, OpenAI's latest and greatest. And they're really focusing on speed and efficiency with this one.
So it's like the lightweight agile model compared to the heavy hitters.
Yeah, it's designed to be fast and cost-effective, which makes it a really interesting option for businesses and developers who need something more practical.
It sounds like OpenAI is trying to make AI more accessible to everyone, not just those with deep pockets.
Absolutely. And that's something we're seeing across the board in the AI landscape, a real push towards democratization.
All right, so we've met our contenders. Now let's get a little more technical. What can you tell us about the architecture of these models? But try to keep it simple enough for us non-engineers to follow.
Sure. So let's start with Grok 3. It's built on something called transformer-based neural networks. Essentially, these are complex mathematical models that are inspired by the way the human brain works.
So it's like mimicking the brain structure to create artificial intelligence.
Yeah, kind of. And Grok 3's neural network is massive. It's achieving top scores in early evaluations, and user feedback has been really positive. So far, it's living up to the hype.
Okay, and what about its context window? I've heard that term thrown around a lot. What exactly does that mean?
So the context window is basically the amount of information the AI can hold in its memory at any given time. Think of it like short-term memory.
Gotcha. So the larger the context window, the more information the AI can process and understand at once.
Exactly. And Grok 3 has a massive context window of 128,000 tokens.
The tokens. Okay, I'm going to need another quick explainer on that one.
Oh, right. So tokens are basically the units of information that the AI processes. They can be words, punctuation marks, or even parts of words.
So with a context window of 128,000 tokens, Grok-3 can essentially process the equivalent of a small novel in one go.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's like having an AI with a photographic memory.
Pretty impressive. Okay, so back to the architectures. What about DeepSeek R1? What makes its design so unique?
Well, aside from that mixture of experts thing we talked about, DeepSeek R1 has a crazy high parameter count, 671 billion to be exact.
671 billion. No, hold on. What exactly are parameters in this context?
Think of parameters as the knobs and dials that control how the AI model learns and makes decisions. The more parameters, the more complex and nuanced the AI's understanding of the world can be.
Okay, so it's like having a massive control panel for fine-tuning the AI's intelligence.
Exactly. And that massive parameter count, combined with its efficient design, is what allows DeepSeek R1 to punch above its weight, delivering performance that rivals models trained on a way more expensive hardware.
Makes sense? All right, and lastly, what about O3-Mini?
OpenAI is being a little secretive about the specifics of O3-Mini's architecture. What we do know is that they've really prioritized efficiency and speed. They're not focused on having the biggest parameter count or the most complex design. Instead, they've streamlined it to make O3-Mini incredibly fast and responsive.
So it's like the cheetah of AI models, built for speed and agility.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes it perfect for tasks where responsiveness is key, like powering those real-time chat bots or providing instant recommendations.
All right, so we've explored the brains of these AI models. But the brain needs food, right? What about the data they're trained on?
The data is absolutely crucial. It's the fuel that powers these AI engines.
So let's break it down, starting with Grok-3. What kind of data do they feed this thing?
Well, Grok-3 was trained on a massive dataset of 12.8 trillion tokens. Imagine a library filled with every book article and website you can think of. That's essentially the scale of data we're talking about.
Wow, talk about a well-read AI.
Yeah.
And where do they get all this data?
A lot of it comes from the public internet, but Grok-3 also has access to X's own proprietary datasets. So it's learning from the massive fire hose of information flowing through X every second.
It's not just book smart, it's also street smart, picking up on all those real-world interactions happening online.
Exactly, and that blend of public and private data gives Grok-3 a really unique perspective.
Interesting. Okay, what about DeepSeek R1? What kind of data do they use to train that one?
DeepSeek R1 was trained on a dataset of 14.8 trillion tokens, but they took a slightly different approach, focusing more on code repositories and scientific literature.
Ah, so that explains why it excels at those technical tasks. It's been trained on the language of code and science.
Precisely. And that focus is very deliberate. DeepSeek's goal is to create an AI that can help us solve really complex scientific and engineering challenges.
I can see how that would be valuable in fields like medicine materials, science, space exploration, all kinds of things.
Absolutely. And because it's open source, anyone can contribute to its development and adapt it to their specific needs.
It's like crowdsourcing superintelligence. That's pretty cool. Okay, and lastly, what about O3-Mini? What's fueling its intelligence?
OpenAI hasn't disclosed the specifics of O3-Mini's training data, but it's probably safe to assume that it's been exposed to a vast and diverse range of internet text and code. I mean, it is designed to be a general-purpose AI, after all.
It's a bit of a mystery, but given its versatility, I'm guessing it's had a pretty well-rounded education. All right, so we've covered the brains and the data diets of these AI models. But let's get down to what everyone really wants to know. What can these things actually do? What are some real-world applications?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, let's talk about what these AI models can actually do in the real world. Let's start with Grok-3. What are some of its potential applications?
Imagine having an AI assistant that can analyze financial markets in real time, track breaking news stories, even provide insights into social media trends.
So it's like having a super-powered research team at your fingertips.
Exactly, and that's just scratching the surface. Grok-3 can also create content, like write different kinds of creative text formats, poems, code scripts, musical pieces, email letters, you name it. It will try its best to fulfill all your requirements.
So it's not just about analyzing information, it can also create new information. That's pretty incredible. And with its real-time integration with X, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Yeah, it's a really powerful tool. Okay, so what about DeepSeek R1? What are some of its strengths?
Well, DeepSeek R1 seems to excel at tasks that require deep analysis and problem solving. Things like scientific research, complex coding projects, data-driven decision-making, that kind of thing.
Right, it's already being used in fields like law and finance to analyze tons of legal documents and financial data. It's like having a super-powered research assistant who can crunch numbers, find patterns, and generate insights that humans might miss.
It definitely sounds like it has the potential to really accelerate research and innovation. And the fact that it's open source means that anyone can use it and adapt it to their needs.
Yeah, the possibilities are really limitless. Okay, so lastly, what about O3-Mini? Where does it shine?
Well, O3-Mini seems like it's the go-to choice for businesses that are looking to automate tasks, improve their customer service, and streamline their operations. Things like chatbots that can handle customer queries, 247 AI-powered tools that can personalize marketing campaigns, systems that can automate those repetitive tasks that nobody wants to do.
Exactly. It's all about making AI accessible and affordable to businesses of all sizes, not just the big tech companies.
So it's like bringing the power of AI to the masses.
That's a good way to put it, and I think that's a really important trend that we're seeing in the AI landscape.
Okay, so we've covered the basics, what these models are, how they work, and what they can do. But I'm sure our listeners are wondering, which one is right for me? What are some of the key factors to consider when choosing an AI model?
Well, first and foremost, you need to think about your budget. Grok-3 comes with that premium price tag, while DeepSeek R1 is free, but you need some technical know-how to set it up and use it. O3 Mini offers kind of a mix of free and paid tiers, making it a good option for businesses and individuals with varying budgets.
Okay, budget is always a big consideration.
Yeah.
But beyond cost, what else should people be thinking about?
You really need to consider your specific needs and goals. What problems are you trying to solve? What tasks do you want to automate? That sort of thing. If you're a researcher or developer, DeepSeek R1's open source nature and customization options might be a huge draw. If you're a business leader looking for a cost-effective way to automate customer service, O3 Mini might be the perfect fit. And if you're someone who really wants to stay ahead of the curve, Grok-3's real-time integration with X is a compelling feature.
So it's all about finding the right tool for the job. But with so many options emerging, it can be hard to keep up. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting to explore the world of AI?
I'd say don't be intimidated. There are tons of resources available online, free courses, tutorials, even AI-powered tools that can help you learn the basics. It's really all about taking that first step and diving in.
That's great advice. So to everyone listening out there, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. The future is being written right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it. And that's it for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.